Evening all, welcome back to Starbound. Right, we continue our epic voyage onto the, well, the premise is we're trying to find superior brains. That's a mission that I've generally done all my life. And depending on where you go in the United Kingdom, you will not find it. Troll. I'm joking. This game completely baffles me at times where suddenly you're like, oh, hang on. Oh, there we go. What an amazing bit of luck. Superior brain is found. Check it out. So, well, that was easy. I've got to admit, I've done this before, and that superior brain took probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 days to find. And literally, I find it as soon as I won't tempt fate. Anyway, what we're looking at then today is going to be the continuation of our building of our crazy, not going to kill me at all robot, which is effectively a boss. So it's an end of level boss baddie thing. So we've crafted our artificial brain. So what we need to do now is then craft the artificial head. Now, the robot's head. Well, what's interesting, again, I would stress, is that, using the refinery cleverly, you can pretty much progress, once you've unlocked it, that is, you can pretty much progress incredibly quickly through the game. I would say it's probably one of the, they will nerf it at some point. There'll probably be a limit to how much you can maybe refine or something. But I just think at the moment it is ridiculously easy to do this. As you can see, I've now got all the parts. I've now got pretty much all 4 modules. So what I need to do is just get that final bit of pixels, which, again, without the refinery, I would have to kind of run around the map continually, like, killing dudes. And even then, there's a risk that I'll die, so I won't get it. Anyway, so, by using this kind of mining technique, picking up all the ore you can, keeping it as ore, and then beaming down, beaming up to your refinery, and using the ore as almost like a banked credit is certainly the best thing to do. Anyway, so next thing we need to do is regenerate our health. There is easier ways to do this, but currently I'm sleeping to do this. Sleeping needs to be buffed, I would say. At the moment, it's so weak, it's not even funny. I would say even just the ability to kind of have better bandages is sorely needed, which I can say I know are in this. There's something called nano bandages, which they're better than normal ones. So again, as the game develops, they're making more and more unlocks, and we'll start to show you them because again, they're new to me as well. So I'm quite intrigued actually how that's going to work. Also, I think just a word on base building. I know I've shown you obviously some of the bases I've tried to build and get destroyed by pissing meteorites, but it's interesting that actually a lot of the time you do spend on your ship as the base. So post in the comments if you play this game and you're using a normal base. I'll be intrigued to hear how you're doing that, because I find that it's just easier and better to have everything on your ship. There isn't enough as well on the planets to kind of keep you there, because as you progress through the tech tree, you find that you probably need to be in a different quadrant for better ores. So having a base that you've built lovingly in the alpha quadrant is all well and good, but eventually maybe it doesn't become viable. I tell you, it probably does become viable maybe once you've got a lot of fuel, because then you could just zip back and forth. So once you find plutonium, uranium, solarium, all of these are kind of very high quality fuels. That's probably what you'll then use to kind of, zip about. Anyway, let's kill this robot. Sorry, let me just role play that. Let's switch on our robot helper, who's going to help us. He's going to kick the shit out of me, I know he is. Even literally when I first played this piece through, I just knew this robot was never going to work. But again, what we're trying to build here is I guess this just comes from experience, is in knowing that if you encase this dude, you're better off. Seriously. What I would say is interesting, and it took me a while to figure this out, is that you actually can't do this anymore. You literally can't cover its head. It has to be activated in the open. Okay. It took me quite a while to figure that bit out. So, while I flail around stupidly here trying to make like a little surface, this is never going to work. So just bear that in mind. I think the mechanics now mean that you do need to activate this dude in just the wild open. Okay. Now what you can do is obviously still build an arena for him. And we'll show you that in just a moment, because I think eventually you realize that you can't cheat at these things anymore. They've made it a little bit more kind of I guess they've sorted it. They've made it actually, you know, proper. And this is probably, again, I'd say the robot was probably the hardest one, to be honest. I think, you know, as we kind of progress, oh God, look at that. My assault rifle is getting really bad now. As we progress up the tree somewhat, the reality is a lot of the weapons are not becoming very good anymore. So anyway, well, that robot's down. I mean, look at him. He looks a friendly fellow, doesn't he? And again, as I try to activate him under the blocks, it's just not going to work because they don't want it to do that. So yeah, not going to work. When I think about some of the enemies that come after this, I'd probably say that the robot was maybe the toughest one. But it was also maybe the easiest, and you'll see why once we finally activate this thing. Compared to maybe the UFO, very first one that I've shown you, that was pretty tough, to be honest, as well. It does come down to what weaponry you've got, because, you know, literally that UFO now is probably a very easy kill, because the reality is you can just immediately kind of kick the shit out of it with a very high tier weapon. So the weapon tiers do make this game slightly, I guess, obviously easy, because if you've got a really good gun or a really good weapon, you're just going to rip things to pieces. But yeah, so have a consideration about that. I think sometimes it can just be about the stats of the weapon is really all that matters. But I would say, you know, it's probably the way to look at it. So here we go. Finally, I think I've got my... Yep, there we go. Oh, my God. There we go. So he's now active. And as you can see, he's an aggressive little fellow, isn't he? I think we should call him Dave. Dave the robot. And he's now kicking the hell out of me. So this is why I'm already going, oh, thank God for my hidey hole. Now, I think he actually can break through and kill me. Oh, God, that was stupid. Now, I'm pretty much dead now. Or am I? Now, I don't know what your views on using mechanics are, but I've just managed to trap him, and I'm a boss, and I'm going to kill him, and very slowly. To be honest, I don't know how the hell I'd have beaten him. Look at this is my best weapon as well, and it's still only doing like 10 damage, and he's got over sort of 400 or 500 health. So I don't feel good about this. I feel like I'm cheating, but hey, you know, progression in it. I'll show you maybe once I've got a slightly better build out how to beat this guy normally, but I think entrapment isn't a bad idea some of the time. I imagine they're going to make this baddie, and all baddies probably break blocks more than they do currently, because I think only the penguins seem to smash blocks, and even then it's very tenuous. They're not doing it very well. So, you know, please don't hate me for this. I just wanted to progress, really. I know I feel bad kind of doing it like this, but hey, there we go. So, killed him. We picked up the bits and bobs he drops. I think that's a smashed data circuit or something like that, a CPU, something like that. So that now enables me to build the metal or robotic crafting desk, which then obviously is another tech level from that point forward. Another bit of lore as well. So obviously we picked up something for the journal, something for you to read when you're bored. But in essence, I would say that this thing is, you know, is just the way you've got to progress. You can see that's what it's now enabled, that robotic crafting table, which then starts to open up much more you know, things and levels, tech levels, you know, upgrades, etc. So again, using our refinery, we then have the ability to kind of quickly get pixels, which is always, again, that was probably the one thing I hated, is it was never a problem having the materials, it was always a problem having the pixels, the money spare to buy these things. So all I literally did once I figured this out was there's a balance between materials, pixels, and then what you need, and just having that ability to have the refinery be the seesaw was very nice. And plus it just means you've got less space as well. You don't have to worry about carrying the bars and the ore. You can just leave it all literally as ore and just refine exactly what you need. So if you need 35 bars, then you just refine 35 bars and stop, you know, don't carry any more. So there we go. We're just doing our last few steel bars, and we now have our robotic crafting table in. And we'll show you what kind of spawns from this veritable bounty of a new table, perhaps in the next video, because all of a sudden we've got sentry guns, we've got nano space heaters. It's exciting stuff. It's like walking into IKEA. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.